The USITT Award is given to recognize a lifetime of contribution to the performing arts community. Contributions can come in many forms. Past winners have been recognized for pushing artistic boundaries, developing new technologies, or contributing to the education and training of the next generation. This year's recipient has done all of those things. Please welcome USITT fellow Richard Pilbrow. Richard has been there from the beginning of many organizations. He's not only served on the board of USITT, he's involved in the founding of ABTT, the Society of Theater Consultants, the Society of British Theater Designers, and the Association of Lighting Designers in the UK. You're a real joiner, aren't you? In his career, he was co-founder of Theater Projects, which has grown to be one of the most respected theater consulting firms in the world. He was the lighting director for Laurence Olivier at Britain's National Theatre and went on to be named a theater consultant for the National Theatre on the South Bank. He was the first British lighting designer to work on Broadway when he designed Cantor and Absorba. He received 2 Tony nominations and won a Drama Desk Award. And all of this knowledge is shared in his textbook, Stage Lighting Design, The Art, the Craft, the Life, and in other books he's published. His impact on our industry to our institute will be felt for generations to come. And for this, we are honored to recognize Richard Pilbrow. I have to get your plaque. I have to go grab your plaque, but you go ahead and speak.
Wow. Hi, folks. Before I start, I want to say something about Mark's brilliant speech at the beginning of the day. That was bloody moving, wasn't it? And the best thing about USITT is the kids are here, the young people are here, which makes this the most exciting theater get-together, perhaps anywhere in the world. And you guys have got to do something about this country. Now, to say that I'm deeply honored to get this award would be a very British understatement. As you can probably tell already, I am a Brit by birth, but when our last great President Obama was elected, I decided I would join America and become a citizen too. I'm tempted to change my mind. So do something, every one of you. But to be given this Founders Award is an extraordinary honor, and particularly because it's named after Dr. Joel Rubin. And I wouldn't be here at all without Joel Rubin. We first met in Berlin in 1960, before any of you were thought of. He and I attended an international theater conference, and we met a lot of other people we'd never met before from Broadway, America, and from the West End and England. And over a lot of beer, at a wonderful restaurant called Hardkiss Restaurant in Berlin, we all sat around and thought, this is crazy. We ought to have a forum to meet our fellows in the profession. So we all determined we would go home and do something. I was 24 at the time, I think, or 27, 27. And I went home and formed the ABTT, which is the English equivalent of ULOT, and Joel came back to New York and formed USITT. And frankly, the world is different ever since those two things happened. Before organizations like this existed, you never really met anyone except the people you were working with in any particular theater. So that was the first meeting with Joel. Secondly, he took me to the German stage lighting manufacturer, Reicher Vogel, in Berlin, and I saw for the first time his amazing, very high-power projection apparatus. And I went home to England and persuaded a producer to do a show with major scene projection. And a year later, I found myself for the first time crossing the Atlantic to do the projection on a show called A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Forum. lighting by the legendary granny of lighting, Jean Rosenthal. And that was a big hit, and I went on to do other projection jobs. In the 1960s, I was sort of the Wendell Harrington of Broadway. And she's going to be on very soon. But most important, 3 years before all that in Berlin, I was an ASM in the West End of London. I went straight from drama school into a West End show as an ASM. All my life I'd wanted to be a stage manager. And I found myself on a long run. And my God, it was boring. The actor said a line, and I pressed the button. So I was having a nervous breakdown, and my whole life was in ruins at the age of 24. I walked into a bookshop and picked, totally by random, a book called Theatrical Lighting Practice by Joel Rubin and Lee Watson. And I opened it, and there was a plan of lights drawn to scale. I'd never seen such a thing. And I turned the page, and it said that in America there was a profession called the lighting designer. And I thought, shit. I could do that. I'd lit all the school plays, so I had to be qualified, you know. So I go back to Her Majesty's, the theatre I was working in, and went up to the office and talked to my mentor, the production stage manager, and he said, before you say anything, Rich, I've got great news. We have a new job. We've been hired to stage manage the London production of My Fair Lady, Julie Andrews, Rex Harrison, the Theatre Royal Drury Lane. It has to run for 5 years. So I said, Bob, thank you, but no. I'm going to do something else. He said, what? And I said, I'm going to be a lighting designer. He said, you start raving bloody mad. Because there was no such thing in England in those days. Anyway, I did. And I've been real lucky ever since. USITT is a fantastic bunch of folk. Friendship and collaboration is what the theatre's all about. I think we're the luckiest people in the world to work in this industry, this art, and take advantage of your time here at USITT, because you'll meet some of the great men and women of our profession. So thank you once again. Theatre is the loveliest thing you could possibly have anything to do with. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.